we're just gathered here to remember those who have been killed, those who are still being interrogated by Israeli forces, and to remember everybody fighting for the Palestinian cause and who have died for the Palestinian cause.
If you read the New York Times, Washington Post, any of the major news outlets, all their coverage is extremely gullible about what Israel's saying. Israel said their main claim is that Israel made an offer that if the boats were to come into a different port, that they would, Israel would check it, and then if everything checked out, transport it to Gaza, which of course no one should believe, given that Israel is purposely starving the people of Gaza. Israel is also claiming that they're already taking care of it in terms of bringing aid in, when in fact the UN says that the aid is actually, I think, about a fifth of what's actually needed to keep people alive. Construction materials, water, banking stuff, everything you need to actually build a civilized society has been totally kept away from people in Gaza. So what's crazy is that none of that is sort of given for context in any of the Times reports. Everything's about how, essentially repeating what Israel's saying about the boat being run by Hamas and Al-Qaeda, which is obviously insulting and far from the truth. But also just about the idea that these unarmed aid workers attacked the fourth largest military in the world when they came on board. People are circulating this video of Israeli soldiers coming in, but there's also footage of that supposedly that shows that Israel fired on the boats before even boarding them. What Israel did is obviously a massive crime, and the role that the American press has played has been racist and awful, but the United States government is also complicit. Our President Barack Obama is also complicit. The way Israel is able to get its arms, its money, its military, the kind of weaponry used against this peaceful Flotilla, all of that money comes from the United States. That money will continue to come from the United States until there's a movement of activists across the world in the United States that's strong enough to force the U.S. to stop that. It's really been inspiring for me, the people who have come out, not only here in Austin tonight, but across the world, all across the U.S., but also in Palestine itself, across the Arab world, in Turkey, in Egypt. Really, Israel is only as strong as the governments that support it across the world, the dictatorships in Egypt. And so we need to win the battle of ideas. Put this in the context of what's been going on for 60 years of apartheid and genocide against the Palestinian people.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lisa. I live here in Austin, Texas, but I'm in and out of town a lot. I am currently the national convener of United for Peace and Justice, and we've been very involved in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, trying to see a just solution for many years, and have put out calls, like many other organizations, for people to take action around the country. My partner, Juniper, and I, over New Year's, traveled to Cairo, Egypt, with the Gaza Freedom March. There were actually a number of people from Texas that went in an attempt to challenge the blockade of Gaza over New Year's. There were about 1,300 people from 42 countries on that effort as well, and Egypt closed the border to prevent us, even though they committed to letting this international delegation through. We know that Egypt and Israel have some common interests, and unfortunately, very few people were able to get through and deliver the aid they had brought, even though a small delegation went to be part of a solidarity group on New Year's Day when there was a march. And the internationals in Cairo marched on New Year's Day, but were brutally put down by the Cairo police. And that began to build some more international tension about this blockade. And now we have the flotilla. And we've seen again this international effort from people all over the world, standing up to say that this blockade of Gaza must end, this occupation of Palestine must end. And it's amazing to see, and as the Father said earlier, look at Turkey, the leadership they provided. But the bottom line, until people in this country really stand up and are willing to take more action, we're not going to see this balance of power shift in the Middle East. Because the United States is spending billions of dollars every year, and you all know this is usual suspects here. What we need to do is figure out how we take this incident and this incredible loss of life, and how do we honor that loss and the commitment that the people from around the world made to join this flotilla. It would be pretty easy for us to do a couple simple acts. Being here tonight is a great first step. I hope everyone has called the White House. If you haven't, do it tomorrow. Slam the phones. And we know that the Obama administration has had the weakest of all the international responses so far. So can we try and move the Obama administration to take a stronger position? Small groups of people continuing to take action and to push for justice will make a difference. Look what this flotilla has done. And so I want to thank everyone for being out here tonight. And if we have to be out here again, we'll be here as many times as we can be. And let's spread the word. Each time we come, let's bring another person. Because I know there are a lot of other people that actually care about what happened. And again, these are the kind of moments that we can make a difference if we push a little bit more.
I'm Mohammed al-Badawi. I'm actually an American Palestinian. with all the sadness that we all have, we all saw what happened with the massacre that happened and the piracy that happens in the high seas. It's amazing how the truth is being tainted. It's amazing how Israel today has the audacity not only just to kill innocent civilians, but to claim today that they were terrorists. So my friends, you're all terrorists because you are peace activists for the Middle East, for peace and justice in the Middle East. According to the Israelis, you're all terrorists. It's the new reality of this world. But this is not going to happen, not on our watch. What we are doing today is actually we are holding on to the core foundations of this great nation. The core foundation that all human beings have the right to live in peace and justice. Our brothers and sisters in Palestine have the right to live in peace and justice. And today you are holding on to that value. And we are sharing that value with the rest of the Austinites. So be proud of yourself for what we're doing today. Number two, there are things in life that will never grow, will never mature until one sacrifices the best thing that you have. All of you know who's Rachel Corrie. Have you heard that name before? Of course. How could this little woman, how this small old lady become so famous? Because she has gave the best. She has gave everything that she left nobody any opportunity to give anymore. Rachel Corrie gave her own life for the peace and justice in Palestine. She stood up against the bulldozers of Caterpillar. And today there's flotillas going to Palestine with her name. That's how you live. That's how you nurture. Right? When you spend your life, when you spend the most dear things to you, rest assured that not only that you will grow, the whole humanity around you will grow. So congratulations to Rachel Corrie, because one person now giving a whole nation a freedom. From the streets of Ramallah, that's now called Rachel Corrie. From the streets of Gaza to now called Rachel Corrie. To the flotilla in the Middle East, that's by the will of God, that's going to arrive in a couple of days and break the blockade. It will be because of Rachel Corrie, because she gave us the best. And today, we should be able to give something. We all should be able to give something. Sheikh Islam alluded, as we Muslims believe that everyone has to do something. Whether you could do it in your hand, do it. If you can join the flotilla, join it. If you can do it with your mouth, speak it. At the least you could do is just in your heart, feel how evil, how bad the Israeli actions against the Palestinians. Because they are terrorists, because they are murderers, because they kill at will. They kill without any reasons. They wanted to send a signal to anyone. If you try to break the blockade, we will kill you just as we killed those people. But they are dead wrong. Because when they killed Rachel Corrie, we had the flotilla today. And because of those martyrs that have died in the seas, we will have many more flotillas until that blockade is dead. You could rest assured of that. You try to break the will of the Palestinians, you try to break the will of the people, guess what? You only break your own human being. You destroy yourself from the inside. Those soldiers, those terrorist soldiers of the Israelis who had the audacity to pull that trigger to shoot a peace activist. How could they live with themselves? How could you live in a night and say, I killed a peace activist? This guy is in the middle of the sea. Left his own home, left his own family to bring peace to the people of Palestine, and you shoot him dead? How dare they? They don't fear the consequences. They know they have an ally in Washington, D.C. that will protect them. They know, right, that their propaganda machines will protect them. If we are international water, then wait a minute, even if they were not international water, Gaza is occupied. Gaza is under siege. Every human being have the right to bring into that blockade. Right. And together, by the will of God, we will break this blockade and Gaza will go free. Free Gaza, free Palestine, in the occupation from Lebanon, from Iraq, from Pakistan, all the way to Palestine.